All right, and this is Fosung Elizabeth Cookye, CEO and Mistress Secretary of Goddesses Incorporated, and the ultimate anime mascot goddess, covering all spectrums of the world with females from the Bisoujo Senshi universe, women of fighting video games, and women of the anime world. Now, I just wanted to give a shout out to my friend in Texas. Hello, Christian Gully. I decided to start making a short little series of films and episode clips covering the in-depth interlacing of video game storylines and Bible histories from particular famous fighting video games. For those who do not understand what's really been going on. After each of the episodes, please feel free to leave comments, questions, opinions, document your notes, and please feel free to even email me with any questions that you may have regarding storylines of any of my next presentations of video clippings. So with this episode right here, I'm talking about Darkstalkers series. But before I begin, Ono, one of the head producers of Capcom, has been trying to get fan support to create a Darkstalkers 4. In addition to that, on some forums, they're saying that he confirmed that there will be a creation of a Darkstalkers 4. Now, really, I don't know about that as of right now, though there have been conversations with Ono between Capcom and the San Diego Comic-Con, and then a lot of conversations with Ono during the production of the Super Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 4 creation. So this has been going on for a long time. A lot of people have desired a D4 because the storyline still remains unfinished. Now, for all of you who do not know, the Vampire series, or Darkstalkers, in Japan was released as Darkstalkers Night Warriors, Darkstalkers Hunter, released as Darkstalkers Revenge in America, and then Savior 2, and then Hunter 2. The storylines in Darkstalkers is basically about the banishment of Demetrius Maximoff and his revenge against Belial, the father of Morgana, aka Morgan I Inzalot, or I Inzalin, however you want to go and pronounce it. I pronounce it I Inzalot based upon the anime I Inzalin going towards with the video gaming, the way they spell it. And it's also about the attack of Pyron from his planet on planet Earth, and the backstory between Lele, Shinko, and how they became Chinese ghosts, and their mother, who once banished Pyron off planet Earth. Hunter, the second series, that is about the cursed armor of Bishamon, the armor that takes over one's body once it's put on, and Donovan and Anita. Donovan, who struggles to destroy the dark with the dark. And Savior is all about Jeddah and how his acquisition to create a utopia, a dark utopia, that combines both the human realm and the Maikai kingdom. This is just basic knowledge, but what this clip is going to focus on, because I'm going to have to break it up into several clips, I'm going to focus on the backstory, two backstories, one with Demetrius and the other one with Morgan I Inzalot. Now, which will combine the two in one. So please do send me comments if anyone does not understand what is going on. So basically, Darkstalkers Night Warriors, or the Darkstalkers, monsters that bump in the night, the boogeyman, vampires, and all the things that we dream about from fables and stories, exist in an alternate universe to the human world. In a kingdom called the Maikai, or the demon world, there sit the helm of the king or the emperor named Belial, and Belial was all-powerful. Belial had an advisor named Jeddah, who's considered a low-ranking vampire, but a high-ranking vampire in the political structure hierarchy of the Maikai kingdom. Belial had a daughter named Morgana, also known as Morgan I Inzalot. However, because her power proved to seem overbearing for even Belial to understand, he was advised by Jeddah to lock up her power into 3 separate segments. A part of it locked within Belial, and upon his death will be returned to her. A part in a separate world alternate to the Maikai Kingdom, and then the rest of it, of course, obtained by Morgan. However, the part that was locked up in the alternate universe became its own separate entity, known as Lilith, the lost child of the lust. Somehow, along the way, Morgan does not remember any of these memories. But during that time of her childhood, Belial will be challenged by Demetrius Maximoff of a kingdom rivaling the Maikai. And Demetrius, in a long battle with Belial, lost. And because of his loss, was banished to Earth, where he would burn and die to a crisp. Knowing this, Demetrius used the last of his power to encase himself in a coffin buried within Earth, and where he would feed on human souls and human bodies for over 1,000 years. And after a while, after he regained his power, he would return to the Maikai, only to find out Belial was long dead. And who was helmed to the throne was the heiress, which is Morgana. However, how this came to be, and during the interim of Demetrius' sleep and his recuperation on Earth, while he built his revenge to come after Belial, Belial was deceived by Jeddah, who was his high-ranking advisor. Jeddah, who had plans of his own to rule the Maikai, used his political power and his great psychic ability to fool Belial into thinking that he can come the Dark Utopia, or the fetus of God, a separate part of the Maikai Kingdom where things get flushed out and turned inside out. It is the ends of the ends, or the ends of the dimension of the Maikai Kingdom, and taking him to the edge of this kingdom, to this dimension where he would open the gates, allowed Belial to actually perish, and at the same time also damage Jeddah himself. So he actually would have to come up with a new plan on how he would merge the Maikai with the human world. However, before this could be done, that's when Pyron goes and attacks the Maikai Kingdom, and it's become an all-out fight between the Darkstalkers to actually rid Pyron of his dominance in the center of the Maikai Kingdom dimension before Jeddah can continue with his plan. The Savior story arc, which focuses all on Jeddah, Queen Bee, Morgan, Demetrius Maximoff, and Donovan, will split in between large story arcs. For anybody who has the anime tries to separate this into 4 parts. However, they don't really focus on Jeddah. Jeddah's not seen. They only focus on Donovan, who is basically the Ryu of that video game. How he wishes to destroy the darkness with the darkness that he was born from, and how the only person who was able to save his life was Anita, who is said to be rendered emotionless. Through her emotions is given the power of immortality. If anybody has any questions dealing with the Darkstalkers universe, please feel free to send me an email. Like I said, once again, the story arc is extremely large, and each character intertwines mostly with others. The main concept as of right now is that on the PSP version of the Dark Tower of Vampire Savior, which is the collection, the Chaos Tower, which was the first fighting game released for PSP, is that you finally figure out what happened to Anita and Donovan as they fused as one, and as in Demetrius fused with Donovan to become a separate entity known as DD, or D. Hopefully, if this rumor is true, with Ono, there will be a Darkstalkers 4, but according to Ono, his plans of making it would be with the Street Fighter 4 graphic system. I don't know how that's actually going to turn out, but I kind of am worried because the Street Fighter 4 graphic system still does not look perfect, and you would think with all the technology we have now, we can still smooth out polygons. I have no clue what's going on with Capcom right now. Maybe they should just stick to 2D. Say Cookie!